Found that probably 7 or 8 of my students out of 30 have never read a book in their life.
Okay, we're going to preview, like usual, for 1 minute. You're going to be going at 100 miles an hour. You should get through about 10 or 15 pages, okay? Remember, you're not reading for content. You're just trying to pick up the ideas.
If you read with the finger, you'll read a little bit faster than otherwise because your eyeball has something to track, and it keeps you from wandering off the page or from fixating too long on one point or for jockeying for position in a second line or third line down. And at first it was a game, you know, read it 100 miles an hour and don't see anything. See if you can see one word, and the students are really going through it. And then, well, slow down to 65. And they would slow down, and maybe this time we'd ask them, did you see anything there? Did you see 2 words, 3 words? They said, okay, now read at your normal pace. Well, you've distracted them long enough that now they can actually read the book, and they were a little bit frustrated at first because they did sort of get into their book. And since starting, we've probably had these 7 or 8 students finish their first book, and they're quite proud of it. And we're seeing quick gains in reading levels, although we've been told that it's hard to bring a student up to several years. Coupled with the confidence program, coupled with the physical program, and that go-for-it attitude that the students are getting now, they're raising their reading level several years in just a matter of 6-7 months.
Okay, guys, turn to Values Section C in your notebook, and we're going to do Values Story number 14. And it's the story I call The Bear Hunter.
A large part of our program is values-based or values-oriented. There are a lot of high-impact anecdotal stories that we tell during the class that the students do have to, they do have to be able to retain it and recall it and tell it back and try to get the major point out of this so-called value story. And then we give them an opportunity to try to put those values in practice. Besides making the students physically tough, you've got to give them some psychological toughness, so to speak, or some confidence. One of the ways we get at this, and one of the many ways we try to anyway, is we force the students to solo to graduate. You've got to stand up in front of the class and be confident enough to even be laughed at if you're not making a total fool out of yourself. If you're sincere, you're trying to sing your song, well then sort of the heck with everybody. I'm going to sing the song, I'm going to do my best, and be done with it.
La la means I love you. Cha la 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 means I love you. Put your head on my shoulder. Whoa, whoa. Tell me that you're my baby. Whoa, whoa. Whisper in my ear, baby. Whoa, whoa. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go.
1, 2, 3. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Got a bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Go to the bottom of my heart.
We just have a lot of fun with this exercise, particularly when you keep in mind what we were dealing with when the student walked in. It was, I call it kind of the trench coat bandana syndrome. The bandana is very carefully folded right across your eyes, and you almost look, you keep your head down and look out the top of it. And this trench coat on sort of hides all your body, and usually I have the stereotype of my students standing against the wall, which they used to do, and here they are in front of a classroom trying to give their rendition of "Hey, good looking" or whatever they're singing. And that gain is fun to see. It's just a real confidence-building exercise. Right along with that, in what's going on in the gym, it sort of takes that in hand. because the students are put in a situation where they have to compete with someone where they are going to be defeated. And we have to really teach them this concept that you can be defeated and not be a loser. And that the real loser is the guy that's over there wishing that he could get into the competition and try, like the arm wrestling. It's one-on-one. You know that after a few minutes, someone's going to have his arm down, and it's always trading off. So some days you're going to win, and some days you're going to lose. And occasionally you get a guy beating a guy that he used to not beat. There are no losers except people that won't try, and the competition is turned into what it should be. A go-for-it, fun thing that's just part of life. The self-development notebook is a major part of our program. If you're trying to instill in the student a sense of responsibility, and you're trying to put him in charge of his own destiny, then you've got to give him some of that responsibility. If you want to know what level they're reading at, or how good their 10-minute jumping is coming along, or how many rounds they've sparred with somebody, then they've got to document it in their own self-development notebook. They keep their own records here. And I have been faulted a couple of times for being pretty aggressive. But there are several bottom lines here. One, I think, is keep doing something until you get something that works.
My mom used to tell me things, and I never used to listen to her. What? Man, I used to just walk out the door. When I would usually walk out, I'd break something on the way out. But, not no more. My mom trusts me now. Everybody in the house trusts me. They've seen the changes in me.
I have two younger children, 5 and 9, and my main concern too is my middle boy, Manuel, that Mark would set the example for him, because you know the younger ones always want to follow in their older brother's footsteps. And for what my boy was doing, I knew he would either end up in prison or dead. It's true. He was stealing, and I knew he was into pot probably, and he drank a lot. He drank an awful lot. He doesn't drink anymore. He weighed in at 250 pounds when he came to this school, and he now weighs 160, and he's still at it. He's going down. And he was so, well, how do I put it? I had so much problem with him, I even threatened to send him out of the state, which I did make my threat good. I sent him to Mexico, because I just couldn't stand the sight of him.
I thought I was listening. He used to say, Mark, yeah, you're doing real well, Mark. Yeah, keep up the good work. It's just a big gain. He just wanted me to hang in school and stuff, because I've been kicked out of all the schools in San Diego, from down San Isidro all the way up to right here, South Morris, all the other schools going up down the line. I got kicked out of all of them. And now, I don't know, just like a big change. Ever since I lost weight, started losing weight, my mind got stronger. And in the jump roping, right now I do, in 10 minutes I could do 1,700. And in 20, I think I could probably now do 3,000. It's just practice and review.
We can't relegate values and control to the courts or the police department anymore. Someone's got to get in there and try to take on some of the responsibility. And we try that in the manner that a parent or older brother would.
I started out doing drugs at a very young age, and it really drug me downhill. You know, I stole considerable amounts of money from my mother to support my habit, and it ended me up in the hospital for a month. And after I got out of the hospital, it still didn't do me any good.
And I came down here and pleaded with them to take him, because I was at the end of my rope, and I knew that he was headed for jail or death in a gutter. I sincerely felt that way. And they took him in last summer on a temporary basis. They told me they wouldn't take him in the fall because they had no room. But then by the time fall came, they agreed to take him, and they told me they would get, in 3 months, they would tell me whether or not they thought he was going to be able to do anything, or he was, you know, a total loss. And I had made up my mind that at the end of 3 months, if they told me they couldn't help him here at the school, I'd lock him up somewhere for the rest of his life.
When I found out about this, you know, Mr. Humphrey and his brother came over to my house and they talked to me about it. And then, yeah, I agreed to come down and check the school out. And, you know, when I came here, as soon as I walked in, I seen all these Mexicans and I go, oh, shit, man, you know. No way am I going to make it in this school, not the attitude that I got. But as time went on, I learned, you know, to make friends with them. And we all get along pretty good. Plus, I don't think there's another school around that could help a person as much as this. And there's more kids out there. I wish they could find a refuge like this to come to, you know, because it's the #1 school.
You can push a person to do what's right for him, even when he doesn't want to. You can't just say, no, look, I'm an individual, I can do whatever I want, because everything is so related. And whatever the student does, if it's clearly bad for him or clearly harmful to the community, you can stop him. Communities in San Ysidro, which is close to Tijuana, in Imperial Beach, in Chula Vista, they say, look, why don't you come down and do the same program there? Well, we can, if we can get the role model person that we need, and we can train them in this dual life value perspective. We can have these young men and women go into these other sort of hard punching areas and do the exact same thing and take those kids off the street and put them back into our society in a productive, positive manner.
Thrill me with all of your charms, and I'll
Take to the sky,
I wanna take to the sky,
loving you more to
on a
the
natural
day I
high.
die. Take to the sky,
I
on a
try to make
natural high,
something.
loving you more.
How to make a living. Values.
Values,
The good life.
the good life.